And we are live. Welcome, everyone. This is going to be session 5 of our Black Sails and Dark Skies Pirates campaign, a Genesys live play. If you're still with us and watching, thank you so much. And at this point, I am going to throw it to my players to introduce themselves, their channels, their character, anything they want to do. First off, we have Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name's Jason. I will be reprising my role, Mr. Argus Scheffley, the ship's chief navigator extraordinaire. Always look forward to this. Genesys is a really neat little struggling to grasp fully, but I really, really dig it so far. Of course, Karen is just amazing as a DM, as well as everybody else here with us. Looking forward to it. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, Jason. Next, we have Jeremy.
Hello, everybody. I am Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, the Erasmas Expeditions, where I do live plays and I talk about RPGs. I have a few other videos about crafting, things of that nature. I'm also 1/3 of the Dudes of Yore podcast, which we are actually recording and broadcasting a live episode of this at 8 Central tonight. Shortly. God, this is going to be a long day. Shortly after this game has concluded. Yeah, I'm really, really excited to come back to this. Exactly the same as what Jason said. Still a system that I am starting to get under my belt, but one that has a lot of really interesting parts to it that I'm looking forward to becoming more comfortable with. I am going to be playing Fisk. He goes by Mr. Fisk to you, and he is the bosun. He's kind of a no-nonsense, no sense of humor kind of character, which is difficult to play. But I'm glad to be here. Yeah, all of these people are fantastic friends of mine, as well as very, very gifted players and a fantastic GM. So looking forward to getting back into this.
Thank you again. Next, we have Megan.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, where we also talk about RPGs and do live plays. And today I am going to be playing Nicola King, the surgeon, as you could say, if that is a word that you could use for her on the ship. So super stoked to get back into this. Hopefully I remember all the rules about Genesys, but I probably won't.
Thank you, Megan. I know we've seen a few of Nicola's knife skills so far. Surgeon is definitely a word I could maybe use on that one. And last but not least, we have Baron.
What's up, everybody? I run the YouTube channel RWD Gaming, where I have, cooking videos and various DIY No, I'm just kidding. I run a lot of D&D 5e live plays. I'm hoping to dive back into Philip Maddie's Treasure Quest in the beginning of March. His new system that he's kind of toying with, the D12 roll under system that is very pulpy, very exploratory, very RP heavy, and I'm playing it with Megan as well, and it's been a lot of fun in the first session, so hoping to get back to that. I am reprising my role tonight as Charlatan Charlie, a man who shares a kind of characteristic with a lot of my characters. You just can't seem to not almost die. So we're gonna try and keep that going for as long as possible tonight. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. He's doing very well, I guess, at not dying. He's come close, though. All right. So we last had our group was fighting these creatures, these beings from somewhere else. You're not sure what, but they were terrifying. they open things in your minds that you just didn't want to see. Luckily, you were able to escape with your lives, some of you just barely, and you find yourself back at your ship, the Triton's Folly, battered, bloodied, shaken, but still alive. And you are with the captain, trying somehow not to sound insane as you tell him what you've experienced. So we open with the four of you around a table in the captain's quarters, discussing what you want to do next. And I will open it up to you.
I think Mr. Fisk is standing, looking down at the maps and whatnot that are kind of arrayed on this table. And he's got his arms kind of folded behind his back, like each of his hands kind of clasping his forearms just above his waist. And he looks towards Mr. Scheffley and he says, "Mr. Scheffley, you've been a sailor for a long time. Have you ever seen or heard of anything such as these creatures before?"
Only the drunken ramblings of the lower class in various ports and what have you, any credence at all. But if any, I don't even know if I would believe my own eyes, but that I believe.
I can see how it would drive a man to drink. And heavily.
Lesser men, perhaps.
Well, then consider me a lesser man, Mr. Scheffley.
Aye, ain't no shame in it.
Shame is not something I would associate with you, Charles.
Well, if it wasn't for the help of the good doctor here, living probably wouldn't be something you'd associate with me either. Kind of holding a stitched wound.
Thankfully, those things did damage that I can fix for the most part. But what do we do? Do we tell someone?
You seemed rather idled, Ms. Nicola. Are you feeling all right?
Yes, of course. That thing, it plays with your mind. Moment of weakness. I assure you it won't happen again.
Captain, they seem to possess some form of terror that they wielded as a weapon.
Terror? What are you meaning by that? They go, what, ooga booga?
No, Captain.
Definitely would stifle a smirk.
They were powerful, hideous creatures. It stirred something inside my soul, I'm afraid.
Now, I do not need to know what kind of things stir a man as such as yourself. But if this... I do not understand how this could be terror-stricken for you.
It makes you relive your past. Makes you relive moments that you thought that you never would have experienced again, things that are in the darkest recesses of your mind. It brings and it places it right in front of you. It was at a point where I didn't even know that I was in the ship. I was somewhere else.
Ah, I see. Now that makes a bit more sense, knowing the sorts of things that you all have been seeing in your lives. And you say it wields as like a weapon?
There seems to be a definite connection to the ethereal that I find myself to comprehend. I would very much like to study some of the up close and quite dead.
Taking a swig of some rum, spitting some on the floor, and knocking on the boat 3 times. If I never see one of them again in my life, it'd be too soon. You're a madman, Mr. Scheffley. An absolute madman.
I would have to agree, Charles. They were made of darkness, it seemed, almost as if oil had been spilled on the sea at night. It was
like hatred manifest itself in front of us.
The poet as ever, Charles.
Hardly. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep. It's like it's burned into my head.
However, to this dark cloud, I believe there is a lining. Silver at that. And I don't believe that the bite of justice is going to be causing us any further issue, Captain.
So you managed to disable her before these things attacked you?
Kind of looks to the
Quite
others.
disabled.
Well, that is good news. Where did the things come from? Did you see?
Once again, he kind of casts an uneasy look at the others as if he maybe didn't see it correctly, because it kind of defies his understanding of like the natural world.
It's as if they ripped the sky itself.
Yes, like a tear in a sailcloth, only through the sky.
Come now, man. How is that possible? You're saying they just ripped open the sky and came through. That is what you're saying.
The physics of the ethereal are still beyond much of our. There are quite a few experts along the mainlands and some of the universities that have pet theories, given them much credence. I have still would not believe even my own eyes seeing such things.
Who else saw these things? You had a few men with you, did you not?
Yes, Ma, Nicodemus. They are in their racks for the time being. Wise for the mental health of the rest of the crew that they stay there.
I agree. They cannot talk. No one else on board this ship needs to hear this stuff. You must keep your men quiet. If I hear this tale being told, I will know who to come to. And we will have words.
Scheffley's eyes would dart to the rest of the group in their room, and then back to the captain. How do you like them to stay, sir?
I'm sorry, Jason, you cut out on me on that one.
Oh, I had said Scheffley, his eye to everybody in the room rapidly, then locked back on to the captain, asking, "How quiet would you like them to stay, sir?"
Well, I'm not meaning what you're thinking I'm meaning. Unless they can't keep their traps shut, in which case, very quiet. But if you can promise me that they will not speak, and they will keep their silent, then that is good enough for me.
I make no promises on another man's tongue. But if they do intermingle with the rest of the crew, it will.
That is good. So, what now then? Be free to go?
If I may be so bold, Captain. The bite of justice is currently dealt with, but I think maybe we should take this opportunity to slip from her grasp as quickly as possible. And the Triton's Folly has taken considerable damage. Perhaps we should find a port of birth.
And
you... Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. And perhaps while we're there, I know what none of us want to even hear the names or the thoughts uttered of those things again, but I would like to know what they are. I don't want to be traveling around the skies again and having run into them without so much as a plan. And she would look to Mr. Scheffley, kind of in agreement with what he was saying earlier.
And yet, the more people this knowledge, Charlotte, the less we are to be believed, and imagine the panic it would oversee it along the skies and sea. Again, I've known many a crew, and rational is not a quality among most. I was, and my eyes again to Mr. Fisk, thinking of, and I forget the name of the city that we were talking about last time, where we were talking about getting the books.
Paragon?
Paragon. Paragon would fruitful endeavor on several different fronts, sir.
You make good points. And that actually makes me consider something. We know what you saw. You know what you saw. Did the bite of justice see the same thing? Are we going to be worried about the tail spread in front of them?
Surely not from me.
Yeah, again, Fisk has kind of looked at the rest of them gathered here together, and he says they most certainly had to deal with it as well, if any of them survived.
If any survived? What do you mean by that? And his eyes gleam a little bit. Well, his eye gleams.
There was an awful lot of screaming, and shots fired from the deck, sir. I believe, Captain, that if anyone survived the attack, I don't believe it would be very many.
And I don't mean to be brash, but we've all seen it. A crazed sailor coming into the bar raving about some sort of monster. Not very many are going to believe them.
Quite right.
Very true. But Fisk, you're saying you don't believe there's many left on board? This massive Empire ship with all its wealth, weapons, money, is just sitting there for the taking? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
I wouldn't presume to know the facts, Captain, but I think that is a possibility, yes. I'm not certain if those creatures could maybe still be there, however.
You can't be serious in what you're insinuating, Captain. And she's, like, looking to Fisk and back again, like, eyes wide. We need to get out of here as quickly as possible. And we need to leave and not look back. That is cursed money and cursed treasure, and I don't believe in that kind of stuff. You know that.
It could be a considerable sum, Nicola. More than many of us would see in our entire careers.
But you won't be able to spend any of that if you're 6 feet in the grave.
As far as I can tell, I'm on my second lifetime of seeing money now. Doesn't really make much difference how much I stay in the first if I can't do anything with it when I'm dead.
Yes, but we have faced these creatures before. Perhaps we could do so again, if need be.
We barely survived the last time, and I am convinced the only reason we did is because of the other ship, because of the others making such a commotion.
Mr. Fisk, I'm willing to follow you a lot of places. Back out there is not one of them.
But Charles, all of the troubles that we've... And he kind of straightens himself up, realizing that he's kind of opening this book in front of more people than he realizes. I will defer to the judgment of the captain. His orders are my command.
The captain at this point is standing and he is leaning on the table, both hands resting there. One of his hands is now drumming the table, finger, and he's contemplating. Rap, rap. How am I to explain to all of the crew that we just leave this potential bounty behind without even checking it out?
I believe there would be mutiny, sir.
That scares me much more than some thing that I don't even know exists. Frankly, I don't know. I didn't see it. I'm just trusting your word that you didn't run away. It's worth checking out.
You can see at this point that Nicola's face is beet red. And you can see that her eyes are almost like, you can see the glimmer of tears in them. She is just so angry at that point, I will not. I can't believe you would even doubt us. I can't believe you would even say something like that. We are some of your most trusted crew. I have been there.
Silence! Are we not pirates? Did you not come aboard here because we could find plunder, become wealthy?
Argus
Not
is
at the
making
expense of our lives. And I think at that, Nicola is going to turn and just leave, which is very rude for just to leave without being dismissed.
The captain will just watch you go. He won't even say anything to you.
many mental notes are being taken by Argus.
Now that the strongest voice of reason has left the room, Mr. Fisk is kind of looking around and realizing that this might be his opportunity to apply a little bit of extra pressure. And having traveled with Charles quite a bit, he looks at Charlatan Charlie and he says, Charles, you should also consider the fame that such a score could bring to our names. You certainly wouldn't be quickly forgotten.
Whereas before I was not looking at you. You see my head kind of perk up. All right. All right. What's the plan?
But this captain had watched Nicola leave. Then he turns, listening to the three of you talking. Well, what about the rest of you? Any feel like her? Or are we going to do this thing?
With all due respect, Captain, seems a fool's folly. Whatever that was. As much as it pains me to hear, I think his initial reaction had the right of it. And he is far precious of your crew. I doubt very much that they would idea of chasing cursed treasure.
But we weren't going to tell them that now, were we? That was an agreement, did we not have that accord? But here, I'm taking your words. Don't think I'm not listening to you. What if we go by? At least take a look. A gander, if you will. See what kind of state she's be in. And if those things be flying around, then we leave. But if there are none there, are you man enough? Are you pirate enough to board her?
I believe if we arrive and those things are still in the air,
Jason, you muted yourself, I think.
did I not come through with that?
No, you cut out halfway.
I was saying that if those things are still in the air, then I fear it would be entirely too late.
Captain falls silent and he looks down
I
at
have
the table.
I have a question in regards to the things. We killed one. What did we do with its body?
In fact, you killed like 3 of them, big one and a couple of smaller ones.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did they like fade into the ethereal, or?
I thought we put them. I thought we gave them to Scheffley to put somewhere.
Well,
secretive.
one definitely fell down onto the crags below the ship.
Oh yeah, we were gonna go get it, or something like that.
Yeah, that had been at one point mentioned. Yeah, so you don't physically have any bodies at this point because they would have fallen from the air when they died.
That makes sense. Sorry.
No, that's good. So the captain is silent and he's looking down at the table. You can tell he's thinking. So we want to do this quiet, like we don't want anybody knowing. But there could be such bounty on that ship. It's hard to pass up. Charlie, is there any one of your crew that you would trust to go up on the crow's nest with their eagle eyes and scout for us so we don't have to get so close?
Looking for gold, sir.
Scheffley, what say you then if we have this? Baron, I didn't hear the name. What was the name that the guy?
Gull.
Gull?
Gull. Yep, like seagull. But
If we have this Gull guy be our eyes, will that do for you?
I would offer no resistance, sir.
Mr. Fisk, what do you say?
I would say that getting the lay of the land before we arrive would be very intelligent, Captain.
So are we in agreement then? We
Aye,
check
sir.
it out. All right, Charlie, fetch your man. Bring him here. We'll have to have words.
I would turn to go get him.
Argus would lean against the bulkhead and pack a pipe and light it.
Mr. Scheffley, Mr. Fisk, is there anything else you can be thinking of that we should be keeping in mind here? What if we don't see anything? What then?
If we don't see any more of those creatures, which I do certainly hope is the case, then it's a free-for-all. We load as much as we can onto the Triton's folly, and we limp away under her own weight, I would think, Captain.
Captain turns to you, Argus. And you, Scheffley, you be okay with this too?
Large cloud of smoke would be exhaled, and see his face from your angle. I would suggest that once there, it would not do than to have yourself lead the boarding party, sir.
Did you just say I should not lead the boarding party?
Argus would roll his eyes at the remark. I suggest that no other but you should lead the boarding party.
Oh, good. I misheard you. It was a little bit insulting, I was thinking, that you were being. So,
I wouldn't dream of it, sir.
one of you needs to have words with Nicola. She's not going to be happy, but I frankly don't care. It's, but for morale purposes, you at least need to calm her down, one of you.
I believe that she would listen to me, sir, if I may, and would hold my hand as if asking to be dismissed.
Yes. Do what you can.
I would tap out the ashes onto your floor and leave.
Nicola, what have you been doing since you've left the captain's quarters?
Nicola would, in a huff, go down to her, to the kitchen. She would actually first go to her room, wherever she sleeps, which I assume is probably fairly close to the kitchen, if not in the kitchen. Just because, people come in with injuries all the time, she has to be available. So, she would have gotten out a trunk that she had brought in and begin to pack, muttering to herself, her face red. And yeah, I think that's what she would be doing, just kind of collecting bottles and just, they won't last 1 minute out there if those things come up without me. But I don't care. They'll all die and go to hell for all. And she's just like grumbling to herself as she starts packing up all her potions. Not potions, healing tonics.
I think it's at this point that Mr. Scheffley, you find her grumbling to herself, packing up her belongings. What do you do?
From the shadow porthole, he hears her often saying that they'll all die and go to hell for all she cares. And from there, I would, if such a place existed, up there, following this folly of an idea. Yeah. Question is, now what?
She starts kind of gasping a little bit at your presence. God, you scared me. I know you're not into this. How could you just stand by and let him make this demand and lead so many men to their death? For what? Great, we have treasure. Great, we have wealth. What is that going to do? No one is going to remember us dying out in the middle of nowhere like this.
"'Tis true, but What little time you've served on this ship, when have you known the captain to be much more rational than the petty crew members on his deck?
He's just scared he's going to be thrown off in some sort of mutiny. But if he was smart enough, he would know. He would know how to tell them. A real captain would know how to lead, to tell them what they want to hear, what they need to hear for their own safety.
You're absolutely right. A real captain would know what just to do in this situation. I agree.
I have half a mind to go down, find one of those bodies, and place a head on a spike right in the middle of the deck, so that all the crew can see this idiocy. They're going to their deaths and they don't even know it.
And yet, do you not think it's a much simpler solution to just allow someone with first-hand creatures to speak to the crew about getting themselves into?
What? And she kind of pauses there, and you can see that she's kind of starting to think about what they're talking about. And she takes a breath. You don't mean to say that we let them see what their captain's been hiding?
I am merely following you along in your thoughts. The logical conclusion. For as long as humanly possible, I have less than zero interest in whatever they were again. Nico is a good lad, an honest lad, associated with aboard this ship. They would listen to him, all the while keeping ourselves blame's reach.
Despite of herself, Nicola begins to nod at this. So what do you get out of all of this? It appears as though you've been thinking about this for a bit.
I get what I've always been after to get. Another day drawing breath, seeing the ship port within the city, setting in plan what we had talked about before. As little as enjoy the idea of these creatures running free, if against them again at any point in the future, whether on this ship or no, I would do with no more fighting and how best to fight them, running right into the maw of death's jaws.
That is what I want too. That is all I want, is just for... If we are going to die, let us do it with intelligence, not like idiots jumping over a ledge. A bunch of lemmings.
The most sensible thing I've heard all day.
She nods, and you can see the start of a smile on her face. I'm glad you're on my side. I felt very alone, but I can see why you didn't say anything now.
I would smile as genuinely and warmly as I possibly can and extend my hand out. Always. We have an accord?
Nicola would nod and return the handshake. I'll follow your lead.
Then we must convince Mr. Fisk to this path. I believe the man is an honorable and honest man, yet blind and blind Lord.
Yeah, he follows the captain so closely, sometimes I'm afraid his head will get stuck up his ass.
I would absolutely idea. Quite the painter with words. I believe the rest of the crew, Fisk will see the way. Charlie will not be that difficult. Pushed to the right side.
I agree. He is also a man who, well, he values his life as much as the next man. I agree with what you're saying, and I think we should. All right. I suppose I should unpack my things.
Then I suppose it's time I go have a chat with Nicodemus. If you'll excuse me.
She nods and turns back to her trunk and begins unpacking a little more slowly, a little more thoughtfully, kind of mulling over their conversation.
Whoa.
That was good.
Yeah, whoa. Whoa.
I just got to take a moment here.
Yeah, some stuff was being said, and it was like, huh. Oh.
Just some knowledge drop in that scene. Holy exposition,
I mean,
Batman.
Are we going to be pirates or are we going to be pirates?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, okay. Intense. This is the second time I've witnessed the brewings of mutiny in the system. I'm impressed, really, to be honest.
Awesome.
Was it you or?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, wow, I didn't expect this.
Wow,
This
is
usually
this what I
do.
sound like? Whoa.
Hold up a mirror, Charles. Hold up a mirror.
Yeah, well played, guys. Well played.
I can't wait to see how this is going to all come out.
Spoiler alert. Not
well.
For who? All right. So while they've been having that nice little chat, the captain has been preparing the crew to for takeoff, I guess what we'll call it, for liftoff. And Charlie, if there's anything you want to say to Gull, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll have him up in the crow's nest at this moment.
So, how long exactly have we been out flying?
It's been just over 2 weeks now that you left Port Havern.
So, I want to say that Gull is probably one of the guys that has been working rather closely with me. And I tell him, and this guy, he's a scrawny dude. He's got like a big Adam's apple and like the wisps of a mustache and beard. He probably doesn't have the ability to grow a full one, but he's trying. One of his eyebrows is like cut in half and missing half of it. You can see like there's a scar on his forehead. Some crooked teeth. Look at me go. I don't know what exactly you will see, but you keep in mind the wealth, the fame, and the power. Just keep that in mind.
And Gull looks at you. And not only has he like missing this eyebrow, but in place of eyes, what he's really got are these two like almost like lenses, telescoping lenses that can go in and out and they move around.
So he's got like the button eyes from Coraline.
Well, no, they're more like mini
telescopes.
telescopes. Yeah. And he looks at you and they both kind of like, they don't really align. They kind of, one's almost a little like cross-eyed is what he's looking like to you. And what you see at your end, from these lenses he's got are these big, big eyes staring at you like almost like goldfish bulging eyeballs. All right, yes. What do you want me to do?
Captain wants you to see what you can see about the above in the Empire's ship. We're gonna see if it's safe to board.
Really? We're going to try to board the Empire ship.
Yeah, mate. Are we pirates or are we kittens?
Well, this is the most exciting news that I've heard all day.
All right, no, hold on. Keep it to yourself.
What are we expecting to be me seeing up there?
Well, if I knew what you'd be seeing, we wouldn't have to do this now, would we?
And at that, his eyes would kind of like shift back and forth. You can see him trying to process this remark that you made to him.
Hey, mate, I smell something burning. Quit thinking about it. Just get your ass up in the nest.
Okay, and then I'll signal you if I see anything. That's right.
That's right. Good man.
Okay.
And, like, give him a pat on the back and turn to walk back.
And he kind of walks away and he's like rubbing his hands together.
I think Charlie's doing the same thing.
Fisk, we last left you alone with the captain. Is there anything you want to do?
No, I think Fisk is probably rather proud of himself in this moment. He thinks that he's like emerged triumphant from this meeting of convincing the captain to go up here and loot this ship that's got to be just loaded. So I think he's probably like strolling the deck, almost humming to himself. He's in such a good mood. He still has a little bit of a wound that's left over, and eventually he's going to have to make his way back down to Nicola, but he realizes that Mr. Scheffley is supposed to be talking with her, and in his mind, convincing her to come to their side. So he's gonna wait until he goes to visit her for healing. So yeah, he's just kind of wandering the deck, kind of in a good mood and kind of pointing things that need to be done out to the lesser crewmen.
And as Scheffley comes back on the deck, the captain sees him. Scheffley! Are we ready to get this thing fired up and running?
All is prepared, Captain.
Perfect. Well, let's do it. Whenever you're ready, fire them engines, and take us out of here. We'll head slowly. Use our scout to see what's up there. I'm trusting you.
Most good, sir. And I would take my place at the helm and shout down the copper pipings down to the engine room, fire it up, and away we go.
The engine sputters to life. The steam valves start to pump. And slowly, the bladder fills and the ship starts to rise. And because you are doing this under no pressure, you do not have to make a roll, but you can describe how you pilot the ship out of these aisles of teeth towards where the bite of justice was left.
Certainly. I would adjust my goggle eyes and feel that old familiar thrill as I feel the weight of the ship start to jostle off to the side, away from the canyon that we've been hiding in. Slowly making our way through as I see a wider opening within the above us and skim just above the ground over the teeth as we head on of the Justice.
Were you asking for each of us to contribute something? Okay. Yes. Okay. I think what Mr. Fisk is doing is he's kind of gathered some of the stronger armed lads to get their gaff poles and kind of move from side to side of the ship to use these gaff poles to kind of push off of some of these rocks and things that might get a little too close for comfort as we're kind of making our way through these very tightly clustered razor sharp rocks. I imagine we're probably doing so at a pretty slow pace. And so they're kind of out at the prow of the ship, making sure to push, this way and that just a little to help out.
Perfect. Charlie.
We are here in the rigs, effectively down a man with Gull up in the nest. So I'm kind of covering for Gull and handling my own responsibilities, dealing with the rigging of the masts and the sails. So I feel like I'm probably just a spider up in the ropes.
And Nicola, what are you doing as Scheffley is taking the ship out?
I think Nicola would return to the main deck She wouldn't say anything to anyone unless someone came up and spoke to her. She would just be on the main deck, kind of just looking out. There's a sense of worry in her eyes.
Jason, sorry. You said in the chat you want to roll to see if you can get Nico on your side. Is that what you're asking?
No, not necessarily. Nico, I think, would absolutely be 100 Argus in this. My question was, is there a role I could take that would determine how successful, if at all, he would be in getting to follow along with what I'm planning?
Like for him to follow,
talking about
or for him to get others to follow?
Him to get others to follow.
Okay. Yes, he could make. It will be. Well, it depends on how quickly you want this to happen. If you want it to happen like all at once, like within the next, day or so, right? Like as you're approaching this other ship, then it's going to be a really difficult, be a 4 purple roll for him. If you want to take it in smaller doses where he gets groups of people together, it'll add time. You won't be able to do it right away, but then it'd be much easier for him to convince people.
I'm not wanting it to be trying to play a slower time we get to where we're going, that I'm hoping to have the crew along with us.
So you want to do it like right away, like a quick, be basically a quickly gather support or try to gather support. That's what I'm getting from you. You're roboting
very
on
quickly.
me, so I'm cutting out.
Oh, let me cut my. Is this any better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. No, I didn't want it to be a super quick process. I want him to, chat here and there during, or, as they're going about their duties as we sail towards the Justice. I want him to talk about things that we fought, what it did to the Folly, and how the captain is leading us right back to them. So several days worth of trying.
Okay, you'll only be you're only like a couple, not even an hour or so away from the Justice right now. So if you want this to happen before the Justice, it would have to be pretty big. But if you want to do it slowly, then we can absolutely do that too.
Okay, yeah, I want to attempt to do it slowly.
Okay, so then you can make, he'll have enough time to probably talk to a group, we'll say a group of about 5. That'll put him at an average difficulty. And this would be, what would it be?
2 purples?
Yes, it'll be 2 purples. And then skill-wise, okay, he's one of your crew, right?
Yes, he's a direct subordinate.
Okay, so what are your class career skills for your class for the social ones?
Social, I've got 0. I've got nothing in them.
Do you have any? You're an airshipman, right? Or just gonna scoot by here. Sorry, give me a second.
Yeah, most skills I have 1 in combat skills and my knowledge all the way across, but nothing in social.
Okay, yeah, so they probably wouldn't have either. So you can make
cunning?
Sure, cunning. A cunning check. No no skill with it. So it would just be whatever the cunning is. What is your cunning?
2.
2. So it'd be 2 green dice against 2 purple dice.
Okay. Dice don't fails me now. All right. And the sunburst is success, Chevron. Hello.
Heard you. We got how many successes? 1 second.
Which
Sorry,
one is
Sorry, I
a
was
success?
muted.
Uh,
The sun is
no,
a
you're
success.
fine. You're fine. Success.
Yeah, sun is a
The
success.
chevron is advantage.
That is correct.
Okay, so I remembered I had the cheat sheet pulled up. I have 1 success, 2 failures, and 3 advantages.
Okay, so he failed to bring these over to his side in this. But how many advantages did you say? 3
3.
advantage and no threat?
No threat.
So with 3 advantages, I would say in this case, and you can override this if you want, because this is your character friendly guy, but conceals your true goal. So even though he failed to get them to be on his side, he did not let it slip what the true goal of this conversation was for. So there is no there will be no consequences of like mutiny talk or anything. Like that would be hush at this point. Like nobody knows.
No, for sure. I dig it. Right on.
Okay.
But the seed is planted.
The seed is planted. All right. As you clear the tops of the aisles of teeth, it is still dark. It is still night. Morning has yet to come. But you can see in the distance the bite of justice sitting there, immobile, yet still floating. A big hole in the front there where you guys succeeded in sabotaging the propulsion steam mechanism. And Gull, he shouts down to you, Charlie. I see nothing. Nothing. There's no movement. There's nothing.
You hear that, Fisk? Seems whatever it was is gone.
It should be easy for the taking.
Hopefully, anyway.
Hopefully.
Suppose I'll go tell the captain, or do you want to?
I'll inform him.
Very well. And shouting back up to Girl. Good work. Keep your eyes peeled.
Peeled, sir? Well, I'll keep watch if that's what you're meaning.
Yes, go. Yes, it is.
Fisk will go find the captain to relay this newest discovery.
Oh, you're saying there's nothing. No movement. Excuse me.
That is what the lookout has said. Yes, sir. Gull is his name. He's the one with the well,
The
enhancements.
eagle eyes.
I believe the gull eyes. So
Oh,
yes.
gull eyes. Of course. You're such a funny man, Mr. Fisk.
If you say so, sir.
And you trust him. He's a sharp one, is he?
Well, sir, he is trusted by Charles, and I trust Charles.
Well, Fisk, seems it's the moment of truth. You ready for this?
Aye, sir. Our lucky day, I believe, sir.
All right. Tell the men, prepare to board.
Aye, sir. Right away, Captain.
And the captain would turn and look at you, Scheffley. All right. Boarding maneuvers, Scheffley. Steady in.
Very good, sir.
And then he'll yell to the rest of the board. This is it, boys. Get ready. Man your guns. Step lively. Scheffley, how do you approach?
Like a boss. No. It's the folly. This is where the justice went down, or is it in water, shallow water, or what have you?
It is still flying above you. It's not moving, so it's still.
Oh, I thought it had landed.
No, it's right where you left it. It is unable to maneuver without having its engines, but the floating mechanism was still intact so that it did not crash to the ground.
Okay. Well, if that is the case, then maneuver the folly to the justice perpendicular to it, to where our cannons would fire into the aft, but high enough that we can see across the deck obvious movement or living creature or abomination.
Okay, so as you slowly approach, trying to steer clear of most of its guns, I'm assuming, coming up behind it, but with your guns trained broadside to it, you see nothing. Gull reports no movement. It's still dark, but there's no lights on the other ship. It is completely, it looks like a completely dead ship for all intents and purposes. There is nothing. And as you approach even closer, you do not see any movement on deck. You see nothing. The mast, that foremast is busted and just lying there across the deck. But otherwise, completely deserted.
Seems dead quiet, sir.
Take us in, Scheffley. Near enough that we can board at her. But be wary, in case it's a trap.
Very good, sir.
I think
And
Fisk goes over to stand next to Scheffley and kind of leans in close, maybe close enough that the captain doesn't overhear. Where are the bodies?
I would look to Fisk and quietly, the captain wouldn't hear, or those around us. It's excellent observation, Mr. Fisk. And yet, we will go.
So at that, I would like those of you who are on deck and were looking to make a perception check. Difficulty will be 3 purples and a setback die because of the darkness.
Sorry, is the setback die black?
Yes, yeah, sorry. So
You
3
said 3?
purples and a black. Yeah,
Okay, 3 purple. All right.
I'm sorry, 3 what in a black?
3 purple.
3 purples, you
3
said.
purple. Yes.
If only I had 3 purple.
Against your perception. So that's cunning.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Do I have perception? I do not. Okay.
So it would just be straight cunning, which
Okay, this is bad.
The X's are failures, or
Yes.
are okay? That's what I thought. That's worse than I wanted, but I got 1 failure, 1 advantage.
okay.
I ended up with 2 successes and a threat.
Okay.
I came out 2 threats and no success and no failures.
Okay.
I got 1 failure and 3 threat.
Okay, so the only one that succeeded is Fisk. Is that correct?
I believe so. I mean, I didn't get any success, but I didn't outright fail either.
Yeah, you have to have more success than failures to succeed. Otherwise, it's considered a failure.
Oh, okay. Well, then I failed.
Okay, so in this instance, the threats are not going to mean anything. Like you're not going to take any nothing from this. You just don't see anything other than what I have already described to you. Fisk, however, you did succeed. You succeeded with, and you said with threat?
I had 2 successes and 1 threat.
Okay. You do succeed on seeing something other than what the others have seen. From your vantage point coming in the back, the rear of the ship here, you're noticing that on the deck, as you get closer, the lighting is horrible, so it's very tough to see, but there are sections of the deck that you think are blacker than they should be. They don't match, the deck beside them, for example. And it's usually around around the railings and the broken pieces of the deck is where you see most of this blackness, for lack of a better word. And it causes you a little unease. That is where the threat's going to come in. And you're going to take 1 strain as this kind of kindles and reminds you of the fight that you had only a few short hours ago. And the ship approaches, and the captain has yelled out the orders for the boarding planks and ropes, etc. And the crew has complied and has put out multiple, I think we probably fit about 4 or 5 of the planks from your ship to its ship in the back there, plus some rope ties going from your ship to theirs to kind of secure your ship to the bite. So effectively you are boarded, like attached to this ship. There was no fire as you approached, nothing. It was very calm. What do you do?
So there's no dead bodies. Is there any sign of dead bodies? Like, is there blood, parts of bodies, maybe even weapons that have been like discarded or dropped?
From where you, with 2 successes, maybe you see a couple of weapons lying just on the ground. You don't see any bodies.
Right.
You're unsure about blood, etc. It's too kind of dark to see from where you're standing, but you did see darker places on the deck. So
could that be like a logical explanation to what Fisk at least thinks he sees at this point?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
okay.
Blood would definitely wouldn't reflect as well,
right?
For sure.
So I think that's probably, even though it makes him feel unease, like there's that doubt in his mind that might not be what it is. But he's telling himself that that's what he's seeing, and that's why he's not like alerting anybody else to it.
Perfect.
But he is going to prepare to board.
Okay. Who else?
Charlie's right.
I'll be going.
I think.
I will be.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just saying I was preparing to go to sword in hand, wiping the blade off with a cloth, kind of in thought.
I think Nicola would. Where is the captain at this point? Is he like at the front, like preparing to be the first to board?
Absolutely. That was what Scheffley and Fisk had kind of heard in the room. There's absolutely no way that the captain is not going to be one of the first on board this time. So he's definitely prepping, getting ready, and if anything, is going to be one of the first on the planks to head over.
I think Nicola would try to stand beside the captain. You must see that there is something wrong here. It's still not too late. We can turn back.
And the captain turns and looks at you. Nicola, I never figured you for a coward. There's nothing here. There's no one around.
That is my point, Captain. And call me a coward again, one more time, please.
All right, then. You're a coward if you're not coming. Now, we're not going in there blind. It could be a trap. We're going in there with our guns and our swords. Excuse me. But we're going in. There's, for all intents and purposes here, what we're seeing is absolutely nothing.
Nicola just smirks. You're the captain. And she walks kind of further back into the group.
At that, the captain will turn, look at everyone. Let's do this, boys. And then he turns and boards onto the ship. It's me. And I think we will take a break right at this point. Stop for about 5-10 minute bio break and carry on when we get back.
Excellent.
I'm still kind of reeling from the whole let's mutiny thing going on. So awesome.
Feels like home.
You know, I was expecting it at some point. I was just expecting it from you.
No, I'm not that.
Charlie said, no.
I didn't want to be that guy.
The game just got very interesting. Love it.
Crazy where your players will take you.
Yeah. It's like there's a new direction for this campaign. Burn it all to the ground.
Awesome.
That should be very fun. And yeah, I can't wait until the scene where they're going to confront Fisk. I can't wait. He's going to have to wrestle so hard with parts of himself.
Oh man. Ordered some pizza, got myself a beer, pirate goodness. It's a good day.
Yar.
Arr.
Yar.
If only the pirates had pizza and beer, they probably would have been a lot nicer.
Yep.
Yeah, they might have stayed home a little bit more.
They're all just hangry. That's what all this is.
That's right.
Captain
It
just
would've
needs a Snickers.
We actually call that scurvy. Scurvy.
That's a terrible name for a
the early 1700s just would have been one big Caribbean.
They're helping the Spanish and the French get along.
Settling dispute. All right, what you be needing is a good beer and a slice of this pepperoni.
Pirate themed cruises.
The one guy was like, hits the plate away. Oh, what are you doing? You put pineapple on it.
Pineapple belongs on pizza.
Just imagine
on pizza, but
Me too.
Just imagine this.
Only if that pizza is going in the trash.
see,
You've made a powerful enemy.
I have no regrets. There are two kinds of people: people that like good pizza, and people that don't.
That's right. Guess which one you're in.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm well aware.
Too funny. All right, we're ready to get back to it.
Lives in a pineapple.
Just a quick question. How much damage does that poison do? Just totally unrelated. And my mic just fell. Oh.
I saw that. Holy just tried to Shanghai you.
Yeah, it just gave up. I don't. Sorry.
It's like, this is too much.
That's it. I quit. I'm done.
We never did decide that, did we?
No. Like the whole rig fell. What the heck? Stay.
Am I still robot-y?
No, actually, you're much better.
Yeah, much better.
Okay, so poison. Apply it to target's food or drink, in which case they suffer when they ingest it. You can also put it on other items, blah, blah, blah. Characters affected by the poison or within the cloud of poison will have to make a hard resilience check or suffer 4 wounds, which do not get reduced by soak. So they straight 4 wounds, plus a strain for every threat that they. If a despair is rolled, then a critical injury. You can inflict a critical injury on them or force them to make the check again at the beginning of their next turn. So it's not a for sure, but it is an additional, like you would, if you're putting it on a weapon and you do weapon damage, like if
Okay. So
right,
you
if you-
can do that.
yeah, but you have to actually get through their soak and do damage for this to affect them.
Okay,
At
so
that point, they would roll.
So you can't just like throw it at them. You have to actually like either have them ingest it or be struck by it.
You could put it into a bomb, like one of those, like a clockwork grenade, and then it would make an acid cloud, like a poison cloud that they would breathe in. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
What about if a blade shoved it through their skin?
Absolutely. Yeah. If it was a poison blade, then as long as you do a point of damage, then it has gotten into their body, and then they would have to make the check.
Okay.
So just one warning before we get restart. Pizza comes. Will be 30 seconds just to get the door, then I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll try not to kill you when that happens.
I fully expect.
All right. So you have boarded the ship. Everything is quiet. The captain is one of the men in lead. I don't know. You guys can describe where you are also in, like the lineup, like where you're going. Yeah, let's actually just throw it right there. He's in front. He's going on. You've entered the back part of the ship, and he's going down one of the stairs to the main deck. What are the rest of you doing?
I think Fisk is he's in his place, right on the captain's butt, and is right behind him, charging across the gangplank. And I think Fisk is going to head straight away to the captain's quarters on this ship, if you can find them.
Okay, yeah, I think actually the captain would be joining you on that one. That would be his primary objective as well. So just down the stairs and around and under basically where you guys came in, that would be the captain's quarters. That's where he's heading, and Fisk as well. There is no light. It is still dark. The sky, it's moonlit, so it's not like it's completely black. But darkness is a factor, so if you want an additional light source, let me know. Otherwise, what is Argus doing?
You're muted, Jason.
Of course. I mean, why not? As I was saying, Argus would be directing more of the crew down into the holds to see what might, any of the violence, as well as keeping where the bodies are, and keeping an eye on the captain and Mr. Fisk are going.
Nicola, what are you doing?
Nicola is going to be going down to the kitchen area, I guess, where she would have been, just to look for things that the ship surgeon might have had there.
Okay. And Charlie?
I think I have brought a lantern of some kind. Yes, I would imagine. And I'm scouring the deck, like the top deck, for anything. It seems everyone else has gone down. I'm gonna see if I can glean anything of what happened or any valuables. You said there was a couple weapons.
Yeah, there was a couple of like military swords. There's sabers on deck, as well as a couple of flintlock pistols. And yes, Jeremy, you can spend a story point to establish that you have some sort of lighting device on your shoulder, attached to some sort of pack.
So yeah, I'm trying to gather up these weapons and stuff.
Perfect. I'm going to start with you, Charlie, because you're sticking up on that, was it the, aft? Yeah, the aft deck. You now also see where the deck has been splintered, where it's been broken, the railings are broken, that there is something black on them. And in your light, it's kind of a shiny liquid, really. It looks like it could be oil.
I think for the most part, my better judgment would keep me away from that until I've gathered up what weapons I can see. And then unfortunately, my curiosity will maybe the death of me. But until then, I'm going to kind of walk over and wipe my finger through it.
All right.
Before he would be able to do that, could I like grab his shoulder?
No, man, you're in the you're below deck.
You went down. So,
No.
Charlie, as you wipe your finger across this, it feels, well, almost like oil. It's kind of slimy. It's got a little bit of like, it's definitely a liquid. It doesn't have much texture to it at all. But it's not oil, and you can tell from touching it that though it looks like it might be, it is not oil. It is something that you've never actually seen before. Unless you want to make me a lore check.
Just a clarification. Does this seem like anything that came out of the things that we had killed? We were pretty up close and personal for a couple of those. Would have been like
now
I would have seen.
You can make me any knowledge at this point, any knowledge check. If you don't have lore, you can make a straight knowledge check, which uses intelligence. Yeah. And because you have seen it before, this will be easy. So it'll be just one purple.
Hey, good, because I'm not the smartest. All right. 2 successes, 1 threat.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, this reminds you very much like the stuff that those creatures, when you hit them and they bled, felt very much like what that was. Not quite the same, but very, very similar. And you are going to take a strain damage. Okay. Because this brings you back the horror of what you felt a few hours ago.
I'm going to kind of just finish that out with like wiping it back on like a clean spot on the railing. Like just like
Okay. That will bring us to Nicola. We'll go with you. You went towards the kitchen, the stock area there.
Yep.
And it is like a cook's dream inside. It is fully stocked. You haven't seen like the spices and all these ingredients that you've just never had on a ship before. Like this thing is, it's like a gold mine for a cook. Not only that, but you can find definitely better medical equipment than you have. So upgraded tools, finer scalpels, etc. More bandages and poultices and things.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically you can have your fill. You can have a couple guys if you want help you carry all this stuff back, if you will. Just let me know what you want to take.
Yeah, she would definitely, after seeing this, she would call a few people over to start filling up. I think first would be the medical supplies as much as they can get, and anything that's fresh, even that is still good, that hasn't rotted, and even some of the spices and stuff that we'll keep as well.
Yeah,
definitely medical stuff is first. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a well-stocked larder. Even like you've looked into kind of the barrels that they've got, and they have got like rice and beans, like just fully stocked for, wow, as you can imagine, like this ship probably would have held upwards of 100 men. And there's enough food here to feed them for at least another week. So we've got, like, for your crew, months of food. And there's, even some, limes in a barrel.
I think after telling the few people, I don't think that she would in turn return to the ship. I think that she would keep on looking around. I think that she would try and find where the cook slept and look through there.
Okay. And we will come back to you.
Okay.
We will move on to Argus. Your men and you descend down into the cargo holds, and unlike a pirate or a merchant ship, it's not terribly it's not filled with a lot of like goods that are very valuable, but what it does have are weapons and stores and provisions for the ship. So you can find sailcloth, rope, anchors, mechanical parts, like you name it, things to repair your ship, plentiful here. Gunpowder. Yes, what are you doing?
Is that to me?
Yes, Argus.
Yeah. Okay, so we're down in the hold upon a trove of things, yes?
Yeah, mechanical. For you, this is like heaven on earth. Yeah.
Are there any compartments that would have any kind of a desk, or compartments that have that might notebooks and ship's logs? Oh, well, I guess that would be in the captain. Engineers, diagrams, anything along those lines?
Yeah, you'd probably find some nice technical books about this kind of class of ship, the workings of it, that kind of thing, anything that they've written down for maintaining it. You would definitely see some books on that.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely start those and like a messenger bag type of pouch that I'd have with me. Same time, I'm barking orders at any of the crewmen around. I imagine they all have the apparatus on with the gaslit light that Jeremy was talking about in this here. So there's a lot of like flashing beams of light going across in the darkness as we're investigating down here. And I probably would let my guard down as I sheathe my sword. Whoa! Be careful. Sorry.
You let your guard down.
Where was I? I sheathed my sword and would start looking through the notebooks instead of keeping on anything else going on.
Okay. Are you having the men haul stuff back up to your ship?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be part of the barking of the orders, try to get as much of this on us as we possibly can.
What would be your first like priorities?
My or what I'm telling them.
What you're telling them to take.
Anything powder, anything like spare parts could use to either repair or upgrade the Folly. I would trust at least Jephthah would know exactly the types of things that he would be looking for as far as that goes. And for myself, any notes and diagrams hands-on into this bag.
Okay. That brings us to Fisk. You and the captain go into the captain's quarters. And where your captain has a very kind of sparse quarters, this is completely the opposite. There is finery everywhere. Scroll work on the walls, brass fittings. Like, this place is decked out like some noble's house. And there are all sorts of gadgets and knickknacks and treasures around the room. And your eye, as you're looking, falls upon an object sitting on the corner of the desk that's in this room. You see this skull, innately carved. And what you thought was wood, that it was made from wood, on closer examination, you realize it is not. This is bone. Just very, very old.
Fisk kind of lowers his blunderbuss as he's seen no threats immediate in the room. Even actually turning on one of the kind of automated gadgets that's like still going in the room. Maybe it's a clock or something. He kind of turns towards it, thinking that it might be danger, and then realizing it's not, he starts to lower it, and then he spots this skull on the desk, and he goes over and kind of eyes it curiously for a moment, and he actually reaches down with his offhand and picks it up and kind of looks at it closely before he realizes that it's an actual skull. And he kind of almost drops it, and he studies it for a moment and turns to the captain. Captain, what do you make of such a thing?
And the captain, at this point, he's been rifling through the desk itself, gathering books, maps, logs, all sorts of like papers. That's what he's going for. And he looks up at you. Fisk, what do you got there?
It appears to be the skull of some poor bastard. I can't imagine the kind of person that would keep this around, Captain.
I think it's more than just a skull. Do you see what's on it? All those markings.
Aye. Something that took someone a long time, no doubt.
I bet it has a purpose. Good work, Mr. Fisk. I think we should take it back with us. I think we should find what else is around here.
Of course, sir. And he kind of stuffs it. And I imagine they probably all brought satchels with them, intending on just loading down, especially once they saw that there was no resistance, at least on the deck. So he just kind of stuffs it down in the bottom of this bag that's made out of like patchwork sailcloth, and then starts rifling through other places he thinks might hold like things he would view as valuable: coin, gems, jewelry, things like that.
Okay, and meanwhile, the captain is continuing to grab books and papers off the desk, and that's what he's putting in his satchel. We are going to return to Charlie. What are you doing? You are now seeing the crewmen laden down with barrels and sacks and all sorts of things, returning from this ship and going back to your ship. What are you doing?
Well, the way I sees it, I'm a messed one with ropes, and well, the men aren't going to carry all this stuff across, so I've begun the process of rigging up a pulley system to carry some of the larger barrels and some of the other supplies that are making their way up to the top deck of the ship.
Perfect. Okay, so we will return to Nicola. Nicola, you have ordered these men to take what you consider to be the most valuable food and medical supplies. They've taken them away. They've come back for a second trip. Meanwhile, you've gone to the cook's quarters. He actually has like an entire room. Unlike where you have to sleep in a hammock inside the kitchen itself, he's got his own room. And you can describe to me the one thing that you find that excites you in this room.
I think it's a book. It is something old, something that you would find from the university. It is a book outlining anatomy to the best of, what we know or what they know during this time. And it seems as though this cook has had an interest in this and has written his own notes in the margins.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to skip towards Argus. You were looking for mechanical books. You also, in your search here, you found a closet. And you opened up the closet. More like a kind of like a trunk that's standing upright. It's kind of a big closet. And inside are weapons. Describe to me 3 weapons that you find there and take.
Hmm. A rifle that's not to me the end is much thinner than I don't know, like that type of weapon. The mechanism on it truly recognize some kind of a to reload a bullet. It appears a two pistols in a bandolier hanging up on the wall. The wooden inlay would be carved with really scenes of the open in sky with birds flying or what have you.
If you could write that into the chat, that would be wonderful, please. Thank you.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And that'll bring us to Fisk. You're going through and you're finding things that you consider valuable. Mm-hmm. Describe to me two things that you find.
So I think one of the things that Fisk finds is like a small elongated box. And even the box is kind of like a beautifully like hand carved wood. And he opens it and there's this gorgeous necklace that has a large like pearl hanging from the center of it. And this is actually a necklace that he saw in the window of a shop. You
don't like the cheese on the pizza?
In some city
somewhere.
And he kind of recognizes it because he's seen it before and quickly kind of snaps the box closed and stuffs it in his satchel without a further word. And the second thing that he finds is I think a lockbox with just coins in it. You know, like a chest. I don't know how big it would be, but it's, you know, like it's not quite like the captain's private stash or anything, but it's certainly like it's something that has been set aside for, you know, like expenses for the ship or something like that. And it's just like teeming with all of these like clinking coins whenever he opens it.
Beautiful. Charlie, while you were rigging up this pulley system for this, you find something on the deck. It was kind of hidden. What do you find?
I find is there maybe like one of their like coats or jackets or whatever military uniform that had like just been laying on the deck or something, since I believe ours were old.
Yeah, absolutely. So you find an officer's uniform?
Yeah.
Okay. As you guys are each finding these treasures, and stashing them into your, your satchels, your backpacks, whatever you took with you for this purpose. You hear a groaning of the ship and a trembling from underneath your feet as it kind of shifts. Argus, as you're pulling these pistols and putting them away, you glance at the cupboard that you're taking them out of. And for a split second, you think you saw it staring back at you. But you're unsure. Fisk. The desk or counter that you found the lockbox on, for a second, it feels like skin. Like it was flesh. And then it was a wooden desk. Not sure. Nicola. As you're looking through this book, you feel something kind of slimy grab your leg from under the bed. It kind of encircles your ankle, almost caressing you, and then it's gone. Charlie, as you're looking at this officer's uniform, this jacket, and considering putting it on, you notice the oil that you touched before has spread. It's everywhere. It is not just where it was broken before, but it is spread on the good parts of the deck and coming towards where you and all the men are. What do you guys do?
I think I'm starting to panic. Yelling for the men to hurry up as I kind of start to sound more anxious, and perhaps this is probably louder than I would like to have done it, but I've definitely started come on, quickly, get the stuff on the ship. And then Mr. Fisk.
I think Fisk is kind of leaning on this desk as he's kind of staring into this box of coins and almost like picking them up and letting them kind of fall back into the pile in disbelief. And he feels this sensation kind of under his other hand. He kind of recoils a little and looks at his hand as if it was the culprit. And then he looks down at the desk again and very, very carefully reaches down and touches it again and feels like the grain of the wood. And he shakes his head and starts to close the box of coin and stuff it away. Captain, I think we should leave.
And at that, you actually hear a gasp from the captain himself. Are you telling me you saw it too?
Oh, Captain,
The mouth? You saw it too?
Mouth? No.
Oh,
I felt
never.
something wrong. Something that shouldn't be here.
What did you see?
The-
Never mind. Let's grab our stuff. I think we
Yes.
should go.
I agree. He heads for the door.
As does the captain. He's right behind you. Nicola or Argus?
Nicola would shudder. And she would head up to the deck.
So
Does she? Sorry.
as you're stepping up on the deck, about 3 or 4 steps up, your foot sinks into the step.
Oh no.
And then it's solid again. But your foot is in the step.
I can imagine with that she would fall, and she would totally just smack her face into the stair because she's carrying this book and probably a few other things, and she would actually cry out in more surprise than pain, and she would look down. Is there anyone around her?
At this point, you are alone. And you can hear sounds above you from the deck above, men starting to shout. But where you're at, no, there's no one.
All right. So after she cries out, she is going to look around, and she's going to try and hit this wood to break it with her mechanical arm.
Okay, yeah. Give me a brawl check. A brawl fight. This will be easy.
Right.
So that's just 1 purple.
Okay. That is 2 success and 1 advantage.
Okay, you can describe what you're doing with the advantage, but with the success, what do you do for damage with your arm?
Oh,
Did you write that down?
I didn't. I don't know why. I'm not sure.
Okay, I think it's probably. Well, what's your brawn rating anyway?
My brawn is 4.
Okay, so it's going to do at least 4, probably plus 1 or 2. You know what? Okay, let's see.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how the damage would work.
I'm going to call it improvised weapon, like an improvised weapon.
Okay.
So brass knuckles gives +1.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say it's equivalent to a brass knuckles.
Okay.
So it'd be your brawn +1 plus the additional success is the damage that you would do. So that's what, 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is enough to shatter this stair and free your foot. And you can describe what you want to do with that advantage that you got.
Maybe with that advantage, I'm able to get everything off my foot, so that there's no like chunk of wood there where it's all broken off. Like I managed to, get it all off.
A nice clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she just with this punch just obliterates the wood, cracks it in 2, and kind of slips a little bit, but is able to regain her balance and makes her way quickly back up the stairs.
When you get to the top of the stairs, you expect to be on the main deck.
Mm-hmm.
However, you find yourself right outside the kitchen. Argus, what are you doing?
I imagine preparing to freak out.
The closet just looked at you.
Yeah, this isn't normal. Argus knows that he saw it, but he's not going to let himself believe that he saw it. How many story points do we have?
You have 3.
Could I use a story point to maybe find a journal from an engineer that created this rifle on works?
Sure.
Cool. Because I the way I see it in my head, I don't think it would match any other firearm like what we would be. Argus is at a loss on what this thing is.
Okay, so what are you doing with? So you found this book. You've got a bunch of other mechanical books tucked away, and these weapons.
And the closet looked at me. I'm going to force myself to ignore it and to see where the crew members are and order them out. We've gotten enough. Let's get the hell out.
So as you turn around, you see a bunch of Empire soldiers, the Verticappas, and they are yelling and they are running around. They don't notice you. They don't see you at all, but it looks like they are readying themselves for some sort of combat. There's panic in their voices, and they are gathering all their weapons and preparing. And as quick as you see that, they're gone.
Argus draws his sword. I'm going to peek out into the hallway that I imagine is now darkened again.
Yeah, you have your light on your shoulder.
Yeah, and up and down the hallway because I know I saw them. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not crazy. I saw. And slowly step back out into the hallway and yell for Sterling.
And even as you yell, you can feel the sound just kind of deaden. You're not sure if anyone can hear you. And I'm going to return to Charlie. Charlie, what are you doing?
If Mr. Fisk hadn't come up from down below after calling from him, I would have ran that way.
So you're going to head down to the main deck towards where the captain's quarters are?
Yep.
And as you run down the stairs, the railing beside you disappears. It's gone. What used to be this railing has now just completely vanished And you're staring out into the darkness of the sky and the sea below, and there's like nothing there anymore. And that's when you see Fisk come out the door of the captain's quarters. Fisk, what do you do?
I think Fisk pushes through the door kind of right in front of the captain. And as the captain passes him, he actually turns around for just a second and like touches the door frame, the wooden part of it, just to make sure that it is actually wood and that this too hasn't somehow turned to flesh. And when it hasn't, he then kind of turns and addresses his attention back to escape.
As you
So go ahead.
As you touch the door frame and look back, the door frame, yes, is solid, but you see a man in an officer's uniform standing at that very desk that you were just at. And he raises his rifle and points it at you.
Fisk turns and fires his blunderbuss directly at him.
It seems to pass right through him. And then he was never there.
Fisk kind of lowers his blunderbuss, kind of not realizing exactly what has just transpired. And he kind of like rubs his eyes with like the backs of his wrist and turns around embarrassed at his knee-jerk reaction.
I think Charlie is like got his pistol drawn at the door, like, "What is it, Mr. Fisk?"
It was nothing. I thought I saw someone.
Well, where's Nicola and Scheffley? We need to get off this vessel right now.
I'm not sure, but I agree, Charles. Right away, straight away.
And I think I'm going to go below deck.
Okay, as you head towards the stairs down below deck, again, the ship, there's this groaning sound from the entire place, and it lurches to the side, almost knocking you guys off your feet, but not quite. And then you make it to the stairs, Charlie, and we are going to pass on to Nicola. Nicola, what are you doing?
Nicola is laughing right now, just in hysterics. This is as she places her head into her hands. This isn't real. Oh, this isn't real. This isn't happening. And she is going to turn and just try to leave again the kitchen if she can.
Are you going to try to go back up the stairs you just went up seconds before?
Yeah, if that's the only exit that she knows about, which is probably.
Yeah, there are other stairs down that would lead down further into the ship if you wanted.
No.
Okay. So you go back up the stairs. One of the stairs is completely shattered and missing. And as you get to the top, again, you're hoping to see the main deck of the ship. But you don't. This time, however, you don't find yourself outside the galley, like the kitchen. Instead, you find yourself, well, you're not quite sure where you are actually, but it's a beautiful room. It's filled with all sorts of treasures. The wall paneling is ornate and carved. You could tell somebody's just been here and rifled through the desk. There's things missing on the shelving and desks around it. Best guess is you're probably in the captain's quarters.
She would pay no mind to all of these trinkets or anything. She is just looking for another door, another way out. Are there any other doors, or the one she came through, is that the only one?
Yeah, you walked up the stairs and you turned to look back. There's no more stairs. In fact, there's no door actually either. You're in this room and you can't see an exit at this point. Argus, what are you doing?
I am sort of losing my shit at this point. Going up and down these dark corridors, trying to find my way out. Not being answered by Jephthah, by Ned, by Sterling. None of them are answering me. My voice is falling flat as a silent, snowy day. And Mr. Scheffley would transfer his fear into bitter anger as he starts to curse not only that every greedy fool that sought to get any of this treasure on the ship. Sons of bitches. We told this fool of a fucking captain. Wait till I get my hand on his little one-eyed bearded ass. And as I'm veins are starting to pop out of his neck. I'm punching walls as I turn.
I'm going to stop you right there. As you punch the wall, you're expecting to hit solid wood. However, you do not. As you punch the wall, it feels like you are punching somebody's belly, and your hand passes through and into the wall. And then as quick as it was, it's solid again. And you now find yourself with your arm stuck in the wall.
Argus would stare at it in disbelief. He wouldn't even be able to process what just happened. Yet there it is, elbow deep into the bulkhead. That is solid wood with no break or splintering at all. I would give it a light tug, and I imagine there'd be no give to it at all. Solid ship planks. These are thick pieces of lumber here. And as it doesn't give any play at all, I would start to, like a raccoon in a trap, trying to rip his arm out, and in terrified anger. Then, as panic starts to set in, I look at the sword in my other hand, and then back at my arm, and then back at the sword. I would imagine that in a moment of just focus, rage at the situation, bring it down across my elbow.
All right. I'm going to make you roll for this. It's a melee attack. You're not going to fail. So that's not going to be an issue here. You are going to hit. We're just going to see what happens. So I need you to roll. There will be no difficulty on this. However, you will have to roll 2 setback die, 2 black setback die.
Black setback die. You're going to make me multiple hack on my own arm, aren't you? I should shut up and quit giving you ideas. Okay. 2 blanks. 2 successes, 1 advantage, and 1 failure. So come out on the other side with 1 advantage and 1 success.
Okay, so well, how much damage does your sword do? It's pretty big, right?
Like I would know this kind of thing. +3.
And then your brawn is
2, so total of 5.
5.
Knowing numbers.
I'm going to say that's enough to sever your own arm. The advantage, I'm going to say, is that shock sets in such that you do not pass out from doing this self-mutilation.
That's grisly. Now, with my bloodied blade and my freed arm, I want to find the stair, because that one-eyed son of a bitch is going to pay.
So I'm going to leave you there, and I'm going to return to Fisk. Fisk, what are you doing?
Having now exited the captain's quarters and shot blindly into the empty room, Fisk is shaken, but he's trying to stick with the captain as best he can. And if the captain seems to be kind of ordering everyone off the ship, he's joining in that. He's, grabbing people by the scruff of the back of their shirts and kind of ushering everyone towards the gangplanks. He's going to kind of grab the cuff of the captain's jacket. Captain, we should scuttle this ship.
And he looks at you. I agree, but how? What are you suggesting?
He looks where there's a bundle of these barrels of powder that are kind of stacked up and have this netting kind of wrapped around them, ready to be hoisted up and over on Charlie's pulley system, but they haven't been loaded over yet. And he looks to these barrels and he says, I think perhaps that might be a good method, Captain.
Captain looks at it. He claps you on the back. Fisk, that's a great idea. You get all the men off board. I'll do this. I got us into this. I'll get us out of this. Get everyone on our ship. Get away. Don't wait for me.
If you are certain, sir, yes.
I am very certain.
Right away.
So he's going to head towards those barrels and start setting the netting and rigging it in such a way that he could light them. And he's spreading them out a bit so that it'll be this nice explosion. We'll return to Charlie. What are you doing?
Do I see either Nicola or Mr. Scheffley? I'm calling their names. I'm reluctant to go any farther down, but I'm calling their names. Karen, you are muted. Yeah.
You do not hear any answers to your call. A couple of men run up the stairs past you.
Before one of them gets past, I'll grab him. Where's the doctor? Nicola, where is she?
And he looks at you with like terror-stricken glazed eyes. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her, sir. I haven't seen anybody. I'm the last, I think. I don't know.
Go on.
And he absolutely hightails it out of there.
I don't know they're being eaten, so I'm gonna go downstairs into the ship.
Okay.
Picture of conviction.
Coming reluctantly.
And you walk down the stairs, and just as you get to the bottom, you see two Verticappa soldiers. Looks like they are beating on one of those creatures that you saw before, that you fought last night, or just a few hours ago, actually. They are stabbing and fighting and just yelling for their lives as this thing is clawing back at them. And I'm going to return to Nicola.
You're muted.
Damn it. So Nicola, you're in this room. And as far as you can tell, there is no exit. There is no portholes. There is nothing to indicate where you could be on the ship. However, you know from sailing and flying all these years that you're usually towards the aft of the ship, and that the door should be in front of you, and that should lead you out. And just as you're thinking that wall changes, and it's no longer a wall, but it looks like a giant mouth. What do you do?
Nicola looks around. How big is this mouth? Is it like a big mouth?
It's a massive mouth. It is
Baby shark or daddy shark?
bigger than that. It is probably the entire width of the wall. So that's a good 25 feet long, okay. And then tall, like the opening. You could easily stand on it and you wouldn't reach the top. It is probably 8 feet wide, I guess I would say.
And it is open.
As you're looking at it, it does, yes, open.
Some coward I am. I'm not a coward, that stupid captain. And she's going to start walking towards the mouth. Better I die quickly than going mad in this hellhole. And she's going to step into the mouth.
I would like you to make me a discipline check. Fear, basically you're doing a fear check.
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty 2 in this case.
Discipline. So I have a rank in discipline, but my willpower is 1. So is that just 1 yellow then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
1 yellow and then green to match the rest of. Wait. So you have 1 rank. Oh, sorry. You have a rank of 1 and yes, it'd be 1 yellow.
Okay. All right. So all my dice have canceled out.
Okay, so you're ended with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, because this was a fear check, you are going to take 2 strain damage.
Okay.
Just from forcing yourself to do this thing that you have no desire to do.
Yep.
And then you enter into the mouth. And as you pass through, it kind of almost closes on you a little bit, and you can feel the wet, the soft, moist oohness of this thing as it closes behind you. But you find yourself outside on the main deck. Fisk is right in front of you.
Does she see the captain? Because that's who she's looking for right now. But if she doesn't see him immediately, she is going to go up to Fisk.
Well, make me a perception check.
Okay. And what is the difficulty?
2.
That is cunning. Okay. All my dice have canceled out again.
So then, no, you don't see him.
Okay. So she is going to go up. Fisk, where's the captain?
Nicola, we are abandoning this ship immediately. Right this way.
You did not answer my question.
Hmm?
Fisk?
Yes, sorry.
Where is the captain?
He's there. He's attempting to scuttle the ship while the rest of us are escaping. I believe this is good advice.
Is everyone else? Where's Mr. Scheffley? Where's Charlie?
Charles, he turns around and realizes that Charles is now gone. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure where he must have run to. And I have not seen Mr. Scheffley.
And I think at that, we are going to jump back to Charlie, who've just seeing this creature fighting these 2, say, Verde Kappa soldiers. And just as you didn't think it could get worse, you realize you're not actually looking at 2 Verde Kappa sailors, and you're not looking at a creature. What you actually see as it turns and looks at you is this almost human, well, human-ish creature with no eyes, but instead this massive jaw. And it turns and looks at you, and the spittle is coming off of its teeth, and they are sharp and spiky and probably about 2 to 3 inches long. And it opens its mouth with this distended jaw and roars at you. I need you to make a fear check, hard, so it'll be 3. It's a discipline check.
1 success, 3 threat.
Okay, so you succeed in not
Crying.
and not being terrified. You don't pee your pants. You don't, you're not immobile or anything. In fact, you feel this rush of adrenaline surge through your body. You are going to get a boost on your next check, whatever it happens to be. But you're going to take 3 strain from what this is doing to your mind.
Mine's not looking too good, guys.
Scheffley, you were I'm trying to remember the last thing that happened to you. Were you ascending stairs? Is that where we left you?
I was looking for stairs.
You were looking for stairs.
Profusely
Okay.
bleeding.
You round the corner just in time to see exactly what I just described Charlie seeing. This creature turning and looking towards Charlie with its horrendous jaws. I also need you to make a fear check. So discipline, 3 purple.
3 purple. And quick question about the severing of the arm.
Oh yeah.
How much damage would I have taken from that?
You would have taken the 5 that you did to sever it.
Okay. Take that real quick. You said this would be a discipline roll?
Yeah, discipline, please.
Okay. I got 3 green, 3 purple. Any setbacks or anything?
Nope, go for it.
Okay. What kind of filth, floor, and filth is that? Okay. And 1 advantage. 0 success, 0 failures.
Okay, so you did not succeed in this one. You are this creature, this thing in front of you unnerves you so much. You are now going to be disoriented for the rest of the encounter. Plus, you are also going to take 3 strain damage from what is this, the sight that this does to you. So disoriented means you just have a setback die on everything you do for the rest of this encounter.
That sounds phenomenal. Can I take any action?
Yeah, you rounded the corner, so yes, you may. Yes.
Oh, the lady's back. Can I now? Scheffley's flaw is anger. He is quick to anger in almost any situation. I would take that to mean also when he's afraid, he would get mad at his own fear. Maybe thinks down about it. So as terrified as he is at this sight, it immediately transfers into a murderous rage, which I'm already doing anyway with my 1 arm. I want to shove my blade through the back of this thing's skull.
So you're going to try to rush and attack it?
Yes.
Okay. Make me a melee check. So that's 2 purples. And your 1 setback die for being disoriented.
And I have 3 ranks in melee. So do I get any advantage dice or?
No.
What are they? No, just the 3 green.
I'm sorry, you cut out there. You get your.
So I have 3 ranks in melee.
And what's your brawn?
My brawn, asking me the curveball questions, is 2.
Okay, so you would end up with 2 yellow dice and 1 green dice versus
that was my question.
2 purple and a black.
Okay, 2 purple, black, 2 yellow, and a green. Okay, so three successes, 1 advantage, 1 failure, 1 threat. So the threat and the advantage cancel themselves out, and I come out on top with 2 successes.
Okay, so you hit with 2 successes. It means you do an extra damage besides what you would normally do, which we've already determined is what, 5 points of damage. So you would do 6 in this case. So you slice at this thing. You make a solid hit into it. You see your sword pierce it. But as you draw the sword back out, you see the flesh around it knit closed. Like you didn't even hit it. I'm going to say at this point, let's roll initiative.
We're doomed.
So I need everybody to make vigilance checks, please.
So again, I'd have a single rank in it with a 3 willpower. So that's 1 yellow and 2 green.
That is correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm learning this system.
And there's no setback dice or purple dice at all for this, right?
That's right. This is a straight check.
Okay. I got 1 of each, success and advantage.
Okay.
I got 4 successes, 1 advantage.
Okay.
I got a success and advantage.
And I got an advantage.
Okay. So what this means is we have a PC slot, NPC slot, and then 3 PC slots. So you guys can decide who gets that first PC slot.
It should not be Fisk. Fisk is unaware of anything that's going on with this combat, so he's not going to be taking a turn.
I think the same goes to Nicola. She's with him, so.
Me being in a Hulk rage, would anybody have a problem with myself hacking into it? All right, that's precisely what I want to do. Seeing the darkness close back up and refusing to accept it, I slash again at it, trying to cut it down. What difficulty would you like me to have on that?
So it'll be a 2. 2 difficulty.
2, and still have my setback dice, right?
Yes. Yeah. That will not go away.
Okay, so 2 yellow, 1 green, 2 purple, 1 black. Yes? Gotcha. Not bad. Okay. So 4 successes, 2 failures, 1 advantage, 2 threats. So coming out on top, 2 successes, 1 threat.
Okay, so you managed to again do 6 points of damage to this thing. The same thing happens. You slice across it, but as quick as you slice it, it seems to knit back together. And you will take 1 strain damage for facing this thing. And that is your threat.
1 more strain.
Yeah. If you reach your strain threshold, let me know.
Not even halfway there yet.
Okay.
I'm good.
That brings us to the NPC slot. This creature turns and it swings its arms at you. Like these appendages, though the picture doesn't show so well, are massive. They are long. These are like clubs, to be honest. And he is going to try to attack you. Do you have any defense on your character?
I know I get 1 from my sword.
Right.
Let me see.
That's right, yes. 1 in melee. Okay.
Yep, I get +1 in melee.
Okay. So and I'm going to use a story point to upgrade 1 of his dice.
Oh, you're evil.
Yes. So that will be 3 successes and 2 advantage.
Ow.
So this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt a lot. His arm rails you. It hits you solidly across your probably your chest, and it flings you back because he's going to use those 2 advantage to basically knock you prone.
He was really sweet today for the most part.
He's going to knock you to the base of the stairs, where Charlatan Charlie is, and you take 11 points of damage as you smack against the wall and the force of the hit. This is decreased by your soak value.
Soak.
Hey, boss man.
Soak.
Get out of here, buddy.
Okay. 1 second, guys.
And at that, we will, while he's dealing with his wounds, pass it on to the next PC slot. Who would like to take that one?
Charlie's there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He saw that happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it may not be a good idea or a bad idea for him.
All right, I am sorry. My company is leaving. Where's Soak at? Looking for the Soak value.
It should be at the top of your sheet, I believe. I don't have my character sheet with me.
Oh, right beside the wounds, of course. Okay, so 11 minus 3.
So you would take 8 then.
That's 13. So I am 1 over my threshold.
So, Charlie, you see Argus slump to the ground right in front of you. Argus, I need you to roll on the critical injury pool. That would be 100.
Okay. It's what?
A D100.
A D100. So I need actual dice. Luckily, I always have so many. That is 65.
Well, you are if you live, if you manage to get out of this, you will be disoriented until you are healed of this injury. So this critical injury is going to stay on your character sheet until that is healed. But it adds nothing.
How would I type that?
Pardon me? Just write disoriented.
How would I type that?
And put a 65 beside it. Or because this actually has a name.
Okay.
On page 2, halfway down the sheet on the right side, critical injuries.
It's called Slightly Dazed. So if you write that down, we'll be able to find it later.
Okay.
Yeah, it does not add anything right now because you are already disoriented for the rest of this encounter, but it will be a permanent effect until you heal it. However, you are also unconscious at this moment.
Yeah.
That will bring us to Charlie was going to go next on the with that PC slot.
I'm grabbing Scheffley and I'm getting the hell out of here.
I'm muted and I've been talking. I'm not going to make you make a check on that because he was right there in front of you and you are just picking him up, and I'm assuming you're heading up the stairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Away from thing.
Perfect. You can move from short to medium. You can take 2 strain to go even further if you want to, which would be long, which would, if you take 2 strain, you can get all the way to the ship on this turn if you wanted to.
You're lucky I like you, Jason. I'm going to take 2 strain.
Okay, so that will bring us to the next PC slot.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm missing an appendage, so I'm somewhat lighter.
It doesn't make me feel any better.
Technically, you're going to have 2 critical injuries. You're missing your hand, and you're just
we're gonna have someone with a hook.
Quick, take a look. Did I wear my brown pants?
Well, they are now.
Bro, if you get poop on me, I am throwing you back down.
We all have our limits.
Hey, so let's take the next PC slot.
Do we hear any of this? Like, I mean, do we hear is there any screaming or?
Yeah, if you are on deck when I get on deck, I'm yelling for you specifically, Mr. Fisk.
Okay.
Mr. Fisk, Mr. Fisk, Mr. Fisk, Mr. Fisk.
It's the newest rap. All right. I think if Mr. Fisk is able to hear this, he's kind of shaken out of his current task of kind of ushering people across the gangplank. Again, he's kind of remaining somewhat near the captain. He hears this and turns around to kind of find the source. And if he's able to pinpoint it as the stairs leading down, he's going to make his way that direction.
So you're going to head in the opposite direction of Charlie and Argus?
No. Towards where it sounds like they're yelling.
I believe I have made it all the way there to the ship.
Yeah, so he would have so Charlie would have come up the stairs, started yelling for you, and as he's getting your attention, he is dragging
they succeeded.
Yeah, he's got Argus over his shoulder and he is booking it and made it to the ship.
Perfect. Okay. I knew he had managed to collect him. I didn't hear that they had made it to the top of the deck. Sorry. Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
He sees them come up back onto the deck, and he runs over to where Charles is and kind of throws his shoulder under the other side of Argus, kind of helping him carry him. What happened?
I have no idea. There's this thing. I don't know.
He lost his arm.
I don't know.
Very well. Hurry. The captain's going to scuttle the ship.
Where's Nicola? She can help.
She's ahead somewhere. I think I just saw her go across the gangplank, perhaps.
Let's get across.
Pretty sure Nicola was like standing right beside Fisk at this point because she was talking with him. So she would have been.
She is.
Yeah.
Nicola, I don't know what happened to his arm, but
just get him across right now. All of us, let's go. And she's gonna,
So I gather that both Fisk and Nicola are going to use maneuver to get from where they are to the ship.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. Okay. You guys managed to make it to your ship. There's no hesitation. There's nothing. You are pretty sure that besides the captain, you are the last on board. And as you go across, people are pulling the other gangplanks back. They're releasing the ties that have anchored you to the ship. They've left the one gangplank for the captain in case he can make it. They turn and look at you for orders in the absence of the captain being here. Mr. Fisk, what do you do? What do all of you do?
I lay there limply.
I think I'm probably helping Nicola address the situation in my arms right now.
Yeah, Nicola is down by Argus, and she's gonna call for some other people to help you, Charlie, to get him down right away into the kitchen. I can help him better there. I'll be right with you.
Oh, quit looking at shit and help him.
And I think before she leaves, she would look to Fisk. We have to leave. Right now.
Yes, I agree, but the captain.
No.
We must wait for the captain.
No. That's just going to let something else come on. How do we even know it is the captain anymore? Have you seen him? No, this ship has been playing with our minds. We have to go. Right now.
You're suggesting that we leave the captain behind?
You even said it himself that he'd be willing to be left behind. He gave you your orders.
Fisk looks like torn in half because he understands and realizes that she's right, and he doesn't want to stick around any longer. But he's also this incredibly bound to duty kind of individual who knows what he's going to be like leaving the captain to if he orders the departure. He looks back and forth from Nicola to where the captain's like busying this load of black powder several times. I am Captain, are you almost finished?
The captain actually cannot hear you from the distance he's at. Or if he does, he's ignoring you. He is not looking up. He is continuing to ready everything. And as you're watching him ready this ship, ready the powder and this netting and getting ready to light it, you see coming up the stairs that creature that Charlie tried but could not tell you about. You see it come onto the deck.
Oh, what is that, Captain? He kind of cups his hands around his mouth and yells, "Captain! Behind
we have
you!"
to leave. We have to leave now, before that thing comes on here.
Yes, okay. Move the game plank. He actually fiddles around with his bandolier that he's wearing with these grenades still on it. And he pulls one of the grenades out, holds it in his hand, and kind of readies the pin that he's going to pull. It kind of watches the captain closely to see if he's going to be able to light this black powder before this creature manages to close the distance between them.
Yeah, and as a story point, I'm giving you guys, the captain goes to light this powder keg that he set up, this ignition switch. And just as he's trying to light it, that creature strikes him from behind, knocks him to the ground, and rips his throat. The ship, the ship is currently, someone had the mind to start it, and it's currently starting to move. I'll give you one action, Mr. Fisk, before you are too far away.
He wants to Hail Mary this grenade straight at the casks of powder.
Okay, this is going to be a hard ranged throw because of the distance.
Okay.
So that will be 3 purple.
3 purple. All right. And this would be a ranged attack?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're using one of those grenades?
I am, yes.
Okay.
So one question I guess I should have asked whenever I went to go spend the point to do this. Ranged is based off of agility. I have 3 ranks in range, but my agility is only 2. Is that legal?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. What that means is you'll still have 3 dice, but 2 will be yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it only. Okay.
Yeah, they'll come at a point where your ranks will outnumber your abilities, and that's fine. That flips. The highest number is still going to tell you how many dice you have, and the lower one is how many are upgraded.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes good sense. All right, let's see what I got here. I have the wrong window pulled up. Let me get the cheat sheet. Hold, please. Okay. X's cancel out. Sunshines. You can all laugh. That's fine. Those cancel out those. That cancels out 1. Okay, so I am left with only a single advantage.
Okay. So you fail to have the thing land where it would ignite this powder bomb that the captain has set up. However, you manage to throw it at such a place that it hits the creature when it blasts and flings it back, damaging it as it shrieks in pain. And as you guys sail away from the bite of justice, you see what it has become. In the final throes, as you left and it vibrated and groaned and changed, you are left with this monstrosity behind you.
That is a tall mug of...
And it turns and starts to chase you. But as we see you fleeing for your lives, the sun starts to rise over the edge of the world, and the rays start to lighten the world around you. And as the rays fall upon this ship, it seems to lose substance and starts to fade until it disappears entirely. I think that's where we're going to end the session.
Okie doke.
What
Thank you, everyone.
happened?
Man.
Oh my dear God.
So we'll let you do outros. I'm going to start with Jason.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason, formerly known as Mr. Scheffley. What can I say? This did not go anything in the best possible way. That was fantastic. Y'all should definitely check out anything else that Karen has put out on her channel, which is like you are watching right now. You can see My Myth Forge Gaming. So yeah, thank you to Karen. Thank you for everybody else, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you very much, Jason. Brings us to Jeremy.
Yeah, I will echo what Jason said. I'm just kidding, Jason. Sorry, that's horrible. It's a terrible joke. I love you, man. Internet problems suck, and I've been there before. In all seriousness, holy shit. My skull feels kind of rearranged at the moment. That was very, very Eldritch horror-y. I haven't ever really played in very many games that utilize that strongly. And I would say if that was the intention and the goal, then you absolutely knocked it out of the park. I feel disturbed and kind of dirty. And again, not in a good way. So thank you for that experience. And yeah, I've had an absolute blast. It's in every session of this campaign. And it's really cool to kind of watch the game evolve from what was definitely more like traditional pirate into exploring kind of the technological differences in this world to now also exploring this kind of twisted, dark, like ancient horror that kind of is apparently a part of this setting as well. It's been a very interesting kind of exposure of the layers of this setting. So I'm really looking forward to finding out what the fuck we're going to see next. So yeah, check out my channel if you're into live plays and things like that. And I can't wait until next time. So thank you.
Dudes of Yore.
Very welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Check out Dudes of Yore starting in an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, roughly about an hour and a half.
Perfect. Well, I am very glad that I was able to make you feel disturbed and dirty in not a good way. Well, next we have Megan.
You know that I am a sucker for all things horrific. So that was awesome. And I love being on the other side of like just where nothing makes sense and everything. It's just very disorienting. And I think you did an excellent job with that. So I'm excited to see what's next. I am very surprised because it has taken a turn than what I had envisioned her, but that is oftentimes the best thing. So we'll see what happens next.
Thank you, Megan. And coming from you, you have taught me so much about how to make your players feel creeped out. So I'm glad to return the favor to you. And I cannot wait to see what you guys do. I have this session was shocking in so many ways for even me. So it's going to be exciting. And last but not least, we have Baron.
What's up, everybody? I'm Baron, and I run the YouTube channel RWD Gaming. I am gonna go watch like some cartoons or something. So, thanks for having me. It's certainly a blast to figure out Genesys one horrific game at a time. So, until next time, we'll see how I die next.
And in your own words, oh God, dear, why? Oh, why?
Something like that.
Oh, thank you so much, guys, for being such a great sport. I'm really looking forward to where this campaign is headed and where it's going. So thank you so much. And to anybody who's watching or will watch, I thank you very much. And good night.